Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you how to paint step by step a sheep in an autumn field kind of landscape. Should be fairly simple. I'm going to keep it beginner friendly and show you how to do it from start to finish. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat for our live show, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I will try to answer them. Let's get started. Okay, I'll be using a 9 by 12 inch acrylic Belgian linen archival canvas board. It's from Fredrix. They are our canvas sponsor, so thank you to them for providing our canvas today. I've also got some brushes here that I'll be using. I've got a number 12 bright, a number 8 bright, a number 1 round, and a number 2 aught round. Those are the Princeton 6100 series. And then I've got a few kind of specialty brushes that we'll be using for some of the foliage and things. You can use any or all of these that you have. This is the number 10 aught fan brush, 1/4 inch Filbert grainier. This is kind of like a rake or a comb brush. It's got some bristles missing in there to make it kind of easier to do some of the fur or wool on the sheep for us. And then this is a Deerfoot Stippler, 3/8 inch. And then I've got a couple of the Willow's Blender, 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch from their Velvet Touch line. These are their select brushes. And these in the red handles are the Princeton Velvet Touch. I've got a couple other Velvet Touch brushes. These are the 3/8 inch angle and the 1/4 inch angle brushes. And then I might use the 3 aught round if these other ones are not small enough for some of the fur. I don't know. Not fur. What wool on the sheep? I keep wanting to call it fur.
Ornaments.
Ornaments, exactly. I'll be doing that all day, I'm sure. Let's go over our colors really quick. This is Carbon Black, Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, Cadmium Red Medium, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Cadmium Yellow Light, Yellow Oxide, Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, and this one is Light Phthalo Blue. That's just the same color plus white. Pre-mixed. This is Ultramarine Blue, Dioxazine Purple, Burnt Sienna, and Burnt Umber. So kind of a basic palette. If you don't have all these colors, just use what you've got that's similar. Let's start out with our largest brush. This is a number 12 bright. I'm going to get a little bit of water on it and wipe the extra off. And then I'm going to go fairly dark on this background. So I'm going to grab some of that purple and some of this burnt umber. And these mountains back here are pretty dark. So let's grab some of the ultramarine blue too. Of course, the purple and the ultramarine blue make kind of a, or I'm sorry, the ultramarine blue and the burnt umber make kind of a gray. And so then with that purple, it kind of makes this really dark, almost black color. We'll use this on our background up here. I think I want more blue up here in these mountains. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of that ultramarine blue. Put that up here. And I'm kind of just looking at my picture. I'm not really sketching anything out this early. What I'm going to do is just kind of try to lay in some different colors back here for the underneath of our picture. If you look at your picture, the first thing that I'll look at is kind of what are the colors underneath everything. What's those? How dark is your darkest area? And what color is that? And usually it's going to be like a black or brown or dark brown or a purple or something like that. Blue. Blues, purples are always good kind of shadow colors if you don't want to go with the straight traditional black, which I don't usually like to use black all that much. The only reason I'm using it today is because that sheep's face has got a lot of black in it. And we might need like a really dark contrast, but I'm not going to use it as our main color in the sheep's face even. So I grabbed some green, adding it to this color for down here. Kind of our tree line is sort of going to go at a diagonal here. So I'm just going to use that for this color under here. And this really dark will also give us just a really beautiful contrast when we put in our trees, and everything will look much more vivid against this really dark color. And then right down here, we're going to do some more of that green. even brighter down here. But there is a little bit of that darkness. If you look really closely in your picture, there's some really dark areas in your grass, even down close to us here. So it's going to look like a big kind of black canvas at first, but that's okay.
And so now we're done. This is the sheep at night on Hillside. So this was a good tutorial. We appreciate everybody joining us today.
The end. The end.
Like, subscribe, thumbs up.
Okay. I'm going to see how this does. This is still wet here. I did this fairly quickly. I'm going to see how it does if I want to try to add a little bit of blue, burnt umber, ultramarine blue, this kind of blue-gray color. Here I've just added white to ultramarine and burnt umber here. I'm going to see if I can get some of this color to, yeah, it's going to kind of blend. Yeah, maybe blending too much. I was going to see if I could kind of get away with not letting it dry and just sort of doing some of this rock while I have the paint out there, but it's too wet. All right. Never mind. Just put some of that dark back in there. All right, I'm going to let you take that, honey, and dry it. I may have to have it dried twice this time. Acrylics are all about layering. Your first couple layers are going to look kind of like a hot mess. That's normal. And then the subsequent layers, usually by the last layer or two, you're going to start to hopefully look like it's supposed to. But you just kind of have to know, don't panic when you get into the first stages of your painting. It's going to look worse before it looks better. So we're going to start with this dark color, and I'm going to grab some chalk to do my sketching on it. Just, let's see if I've got some yellow. Grab some here with my chalk bear. Isn't he cute? There's some yellow. We'll use that. This is just regular old school chalk. It's really good for sketching, especially these kind of projects where I don't need a lot of detail. If I was going to need a lot of detail, I have these water-soluble pencils handy. This one is the Aquarelle General Scriball, and then this one is a graphite Faber-Castell 4B pencil. 4B is just a soft and dark color. The B on the pencil stands for black, so the bigger the number, the blacker it's going to be. Blacker, darker, softer. And the closer to the H on pencils is hard and not as soft and not as black. All right, little pencil lesson for you there.
Oh, I missed it. I was looking forward to that all week.
Just free little pencil.
Of course
lesson.
you do it
Okay.
when I wasn't here.
So I'm going to use this chalk, and I'm going to do kind of some zigzaggies here for our tree. Our sheep is going to fit right in this area. Actually, he's a little bit farther over. He's kind of like if you split the canvas in half and then did a third right here. Right here, he's kind of fitting in right in that section right here. So he's going to be right in here. I'm just going to kind of put him in so I know sort of where I want to put my trees behind him, because I want some of these trees kind of going up over his head a little bit. And then these are all kind of coming down at a diagonal this way and then coming back up a little bit. Then the hillside that he's standing on is starting right about here. It's not very far up, and it goes all the way out to this bottom corner. It's a very long, low slope. Right about there. Right, and then there's a tree right in here. Big red tree. There's a big rock right here. And then there is this big rock right here that kind of curves down this way. There's sort of a valley right here. And these rocks are coming in this way. You want to keep your rocks kind of, you'll notice that they kind of do these sort of diagonal, but mostly horizontal type lines. You know, you'll see some cracks kind of coming down this way, but when they kind of flatten out, you'll see that they kind of create these shapes that are more horizontal than vertical. All right, I think that that's good. And then this is all trees through here. Tree. Okay, so I just did that to kind of give us a head start on what we're doing here. Let me grab some of this brown. I've got this blue that I created before with the Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber. And I'm just going to use the flat edge of my number 8 bright. You could do this with a what am I trying to say? Palette knife. Thank you. Mark likes it when I thank myself for remembering things.
It never grows old. It's just, you're so polite.
Thank you, brain, for remembering that.
I don't know if one voice was talking to the other voice there or what. I don't know.
I'm sorry. That is... I don't know when I started doing that, but...
I love it. Don't ever change it.
So palette knife could get similar effect. We're going to kind of just use a brush for this because this is all kind of, indistinct. It's in the background here. And you notice, though, that I'm kind of holding my brush almost flat to the canvas. That way I can get this kind of rough texture that I'm looking for. And I'm not really worried at this point about going too bright. That's not my concern. My concern is just kind of getting these shapes in correctly and trying to get the lightest values in. If I go too dark, I can always go back in and cover over any super dark areas with some glazing. So I'm going to grab more Ultramarine Blue, more of the Burnt Umber there. I'm going to actually grab some Phthalo Blue too. That will brighten it up, give us a little bit more of a royal blue color almost. I'm going to use some of that. Some of this rock face is kind of going vertical, so over here I'm kind of pulling it straight down almost. And then I'm going in some of the dark areas here with this color around what I've just done, leaving some of that dark or some of the bright blue, but kind of going in here and adding some interest into our darker areas. Then I'm going to add a little bit of this lighter color, make a medium in between these two. And we'll use some of that. But just kind of adding little bits. I can tap my brush if I want to kind of get some sort of rock texture. And I want to go all the way down into here, into this valley area, so don't be afraid of getting down in there. Okay, there we go. So let's do some of this color over here. This rock over here is a little bit brighter. It's got a little bit more sun on it, maybe. So this backside is going to have more of the blues. And then this whole front side here is going to be all kind of brighter colors. But I do want some of this sort of medium value in here. Okay. I'm going to mix up some Phthalo Blue and Burnt Sienna. That'll make a teal green color. I'm going to grab some of that light Phthalo Blue. You can see how green that is. And if I want it more green, I'll just add more of the phthalo blue. I can even add some phthalo green to it if I want it even more kind of a bright teal color, but I like that color there, I think. So I'm going to use a little bit of that in here. Some of these shadows areas have a little bit of this teal color. I'm going over the top of some of my light areas here, and then I'm going to do another layer of the light on top again. And all of these layers upon layers is what really will give us the effect that we're looking for. So don't expect to get this right on the first time. This is not a Bob Ross type. Fortunately, I haven't figured out how to do Bob Ross stuff with the acrylics and get like it to look like a finished painting in 20 minutes. I don't know. It was magic, I think. We do the best we can, but definitely not as fast as old Bob was. I'm going to use some Unbleached Titanium here. Maybe a little bit of that burnt sienna. Create kind of a warm reddish brown, blue, gray. There we go. Let's use a little bit of this on our rocks. And so now on this one, I'm going to start to kind of drag it sideways here. Get some highlight areas. Let's do a little bit down here. Leaving these little bits of dark is what's going to really help us create this depth that we're looking for, though. So don't cover up all that dark area with these layers. We'll leave a little bit of that showing. Grab some of that blue, do some blue down here. In our shadow areas. And this is kind of all sort of fuzzy, so I'm not really going super detailed with this. I'm kind of trying to keep it sort of light and fuzzy when I'm putting my brush strokes on. They're sort of choppy and once we get our trees on here, it'll make a little bit more sense that these are rocks. Right now, they don't look like much, but...
Yeah, I'm looking at the reference photo, and I've learned to trust you over the years. I know you know what you're doing.
Well, I hope I do.
Well, you haven't let me down yet, so...
Okay, there you go. Okay, gonna do ultramarine blue with some, it picked up a little bit of that teal color, mostly white, a lot whiter color this time. Ultramarine blue is kind of a purpley tone, so we're going to kind of go with that for this, and I'm going to lay in some dark. And then if I want to, at this point, I want to kind of fuzz out those edges. So I'm going to take my Deerfoot Stippler and just kind of smush around those edges a little bit. I need a little bit of water on there, just a little bit. And that'll kind of help soften those edges up a little bit, make it look a little bit more blurry for me. You could use a mop brush for this too, if you have a mop brush.
I got a mop and a broom in the laundry area.
Mm.
Would that be too big?
Not the same, yeah, not the same.
That'd be like a super duper bright. I'm I'm trying to throw you. You're staying focused right now.
I'm trying to.
She's got that not listening to Mark.
Not listening. Not listening.
I'll do a kind little.
I gotta kind of, let you know I'm listening, sort of. Just not. If I laugh too hard, then it encourages you to keep on going. So I kind of have to do
true.
just enough to kind of let you know.
It's kind of like
I'm
a stray
listening.
dog.
I'm listening. Don't feed him too much. He'll keep coming back. Okay. Over here, it's closer. I'm doing a little bit less of the scrubby, stuff. I'm not quite as concerned about it looking a little bit more finished or more detailed. So, but going on top and leaving these darker areas here. So just kind of adding a little bit of highlight to what we had going on in there. And we'll put in some trees now, and then what we can do is kind of see where we might need to tone down some of this. Let me do this first. This is dry, so I'm going to use this Phthalo blue. Tiny bit of the burnt sienna just to kind of tone it down, but it's kind of wet. Actually, let's use a little bit of burnt or ultramarine blue too. I want it fairly blue. I'm going to use this up in here. You can see how it's kind of toning down some of that color there.
So good job on the
There
nail
we go,
color.
ultramarine blue. Thanks. Yeah, it does match, doesn't it? I didn't really intend for that to. I painted it for Halloween, which was totally disappointing this
Which was
year.
a washout.
Yep. It rained out, literally.
Lot of rain.
Literally rained out.
Only a few select lucky trick-or-treaters got to see my handlebar mustache.
I know, Mark had
Or
grown
what
a
that's called.
mustache and everything.
I guess not. Is that a handlebar? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. It was
Okay.
the long kind of. Wasn't quite a goatee because you cut off the beard part. So.
The chin part, yeah.
Okay. See now how that kind of toned everything down, kind of made it all sort of look like it's all in the same sort of family. And I can go back in with some of that brighter color and put it back in just in a couple of spots. Using that corner of my brush here. Just to kind of scrub it in. And that paint's still wet, so it's kind of catching it and blending it a little bit. The paint underneath the... Okay, there we go. Hope you guys are doing well this Saturday. I haven't said hi to everybody yet. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, hi, how you doing? I'm waving at you. Hi. No? Okay.
You waving at me?
Yeah.
Oh. I can't wave. Hi.
It is great to have everybody here. We got a few first-time live viewers joining us.
Nice.
Welcome to them, and welcome to all the unusual suspects with us. People have said that they've seen your lineup for the next
Oh, yeah.
4 to 6 weeks, and very holiday festive.
Yep. Yeah, we're starting Christmas off right off the bat, right after Thanksgiving. We're starting in with our Christmas. I really kind of it's almost too late.
Well, if you followed the stores, you should have had your Christmas stuff out in July.
I know, I should have been doing Christmas already, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, we're going to get most of our Christmas done before mid-December, and then we'll switch to winter stuff. So we don't have a huge amount of Christmas stuff we're doing this year. So I did the same thing, added that kind of blue down in here, kind of toned everything down. Then I'm going to go back in and add back in some of these highlights. and the paint's wet, so it's going to kind of catch it. Leaving lots of this dark, and I left this really dark kind of crevice right here because we're going to have trees all through here, so I want this dark color behind them. And this is all trees right in here too, so I don't need anything in there. All right, that's pretty good. Doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but I think that once we get our trees in there, it'll start to make a little bit more sense. Your eye will kind of pick up on the fact that they're rocks. I'm trying to kind of clean my brushes out here, but they're pretty dirty. So I'm going to set them. Yeah, if you don't mind, because they're pretty messed up at this point. I'm going to grab my 3/8 inch. Ooh.
Don't mind me.
Go ahead and clean out the water too while you're at it. Just take the whole thing. No, not right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's use some of the phthalo green and a little bit of burnt umber. That'll be kind of our dark color for our trees. And then I'm going to use some cadmium yellow light or medium to start with that phthalo green. It'll make a really bright green. And then if we want to tone it down, we can use either like some yellow oxide. That'll help tone it down because it's kind of almost a brownish yellow. We can also use a little bit of red. The red will tone it down and make it a little bit more natural looking color. Because red and green are opposite on the color wheel. And then we could also use some of this brown that we've got down here in this one here. So there's lots of different ways of neutralizing your colors. You can kind of see the difference here. Using a little bit of the brown green there. And I want several different kind of tones of green to start with. I'm going to grab some of the cadmium yellow light. Go over here with it. Mix in a little bit of that phthalo green that's got the brown. And I'm just kind of smushing my brush off to get the excess off there on a little spot on my paper towel where on my palette, so I have a usable area there. And then I'm going to grab a little bit more of this cadmium yellow and do a little bit brighter area right over here. Okay. So we got several colors to kind of work with here. They're all kind of, I'm going to put in some yellow. Let's do a little bit of purple with that. Yeah, a little bit of purple with the yellow, purple, and yellow opposite on color wheel. That'll also give us a kind of an interesting color to work with there. And we can add a little bit more. We can add a little bit of the cadmium red to it over here. And some of the unbleached titanium, which has a little bit of yellow in it. That's pretty. Give ourselves kind of a purpley red. There's a lot of kind of this sort of purple red color in some of the trees. I'm cleaning this out. And then I'm going to also do a little bit of an orange. There's not a huge amount of orange in this, so I'm not going to use like bright orange. I'm going to tone it down with my green. But it'll give us this kind of almost army color, reddish. And I'm going to use that color pretty sparingly. There's not a whole lot of it in there. But so we've got some purple with our yellow oxide here, purple and red with our unbleached titanium there, and then this one is cadmium red, cadmium yellow, and a little bit of green. So let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start up at the top where I'm seeing some of these darker colors. Let's go ahead and grab this phthalo blue mixed with the brown. Just tap in a little bit on the tip of this. This is that Willow's blender, and if you don't have this, you can just use a brush like this. Your angle brush can do this too. You're just going to be tapping vertical lines. In fact, I might want to do some of this because this will give us kind of a straighter point on our trees, on some of these trees that I want to look like pine trees. And then if I can smush down the bottom of it to get it to look more like a tree shape. So set it down and then smush that bottom edge. You see how it kind of created that sort of tree shape. Hopefully, maybe. Not sure if you can see it. There we go. Are we way zoomed in here, honey? Are we too zoomed in? I feel like I can't see the top of the... Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put some dark green in first. You're probably not going to be able to see it a whole lot against this at first.
Okay, which brushes are you switching between? The
This
3/8
is the 3/8 inch
willows?
willow and the 3/8 inch angle.
Okay.
Some bigger pine trees there here. And the general rule is as it gets closer, your trees are going to get larger. So these ones far away here are going to be quite small. And then these ones that are closer to us will be quite a bit bigger. Okay, so let's... Actually, let me do some of the... These ones are kind of fuzzy. Tapping. Leaving some of the dark area. Don't want to cover up all my dark right away. You need to zoom out some, hun, because I'm going off camera. There we go. Thank you. Got some of that brown in there, just kind of tapping that out to get it out. This is that color there. It's kind of coming off down in here. And our shadows, which is kind of where I want it anyway, so I'm going to just use it while it's on my brush here. Tap it off. This color here. Okay, don't go too light too fast. You don't want to lose your dark areas too quickly. Okay, adding a little bit of phthalo blue to this pine tree color here, to that dark phthalo green. And this is going to go right up in here. The phthalo green plus burnt umber right here. It's got some blue in it now. Laying in some dark green, just in a few areas. So even though these colors are fairly light on here, there's still going to be some of this green sort of peeking through in places. So I want to go ahead and have a little bit of that it's really the same value almost, so you're not going to really see much yet. But once we kind of add some lighter colors in here, you're going to start to see that a lot more obvious what we're doing. Cleaning that out. I'm going to go ahead and keep with this Willow's blender here. And let's go ahead and grab this lighter green now. This is the phthalo green and red with yellow, cadmium yellow. And a little bit of, I don't even think we added white yet. This is just phthalo green. Okay, so now this is getting closer. This is a lighter value because we've added so much yellow to this. So it's starting to show up a little bit on these darker colors. I'm paying attention to the bottom of my trees. The bottom of them are going to kind of fit in to either kind of one of these dark areas here or go over the top of one. So we'll have kind of this rock face here. I'm going to actually go back in here and add some more of that lighter color there so you can see where that rock face is right there.
Kelly would like to know what could be a good substitute for the brush that you're using if they don't have that.
This one worked. The angle brush, 3/8 inch angle brush worked well.
And if you don't have the brushes, there's a link down below the video to the brush guys.
Yep.
And it has a list of all the brushes that Angela will normally use through videos.
I think these are only like $3 or $4. They're pretty cheap.
Yeah. And with the 5% off discount with Angela Fine Art as a code.
Mm-hmm.
And brush guys are usually pretty prompt about getting them out, shipped to you. So
yeah,
we've heard nothing but great things from people who've got brushes from them.
Yeah. Yes, and they're, I don't know what I was going to say. I was thinking of something when you were talking. No, I can't remember what I was going to say. What he said. Okay. So now going with these lighter colors, they're going to start to really see the difference. Now with this value change here, I'm going to start to see them against the background. And what we need in order for that to happen is we need that background behind these trees to be dark enough so that when they're bright, these bright trees are popped up and on top of them. I'm going to grab some of that brighter yellow. Then they really stand out. The light's coming from this way, so the tips of these trees are going to be in the light. The bottoms are not, so we're going to kind of stop the color right about there. Then
They're pretty impressed as you're holding the two brushes with one hand there for a while. Just showing off.
yeah.
You're like the rock star drummer, spinning.
That's exactly what I do, though. I do when I get going. I'll have 2 or 3 brushes in each hand.
Sometimes in their teeth.
Switching them out. I know. It's funny. But hey, it work faster. It works. Whatever works. Just grabbing some of that brownish red here. Adding that to these trees. There's a lot of this color in here. It's kind of subtle, but there's a lot of this kind of reddish tone. This is that lighter cadmium yellow. Cadmium yellow light with there we go. It's looking pretty. Let's do Now this is where our sheep's head's going to be, right here. So really no need to worry too much about right there, but I do want to go kind of right next to where the head is going to be. Have some bright yellow right there. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do this whole area as if the sheep's not there, and that way I don't have to worry about painting around him. Or I think it's a him though. Okay, pretty. Let's grab some of this yellow oxide.
So I wonder if we get your clock back there tick-tocking, and with your melodic voice, we can probably hypnotize half the people watching. Just like, hey.
That's true. My cat clock has not had batteries in it for a while because it was making a lot of noise. Mark brought it back for me for Paris, but it's my Toulouse-Lautrec kitty cat clock. All right. Phthalo or yellow oxide, cadmium red medium. So I wanted a little bit brighter. It's not as toned down as that one. I had a lot too much green in that one. And I think that was with the cadmium yellow medium. So this one's with yellow oxide, which is a toned down yellow already. So I don't have to really add any browns or green to tone it down. It's already kind of toned down. I'm going to use that in here. If you get too much on, just kind of use your finger to tap it off. Notice that really helps you kind of regulate what's happening there. I'm grabbing some of this cadmium yellow medium with that's added a little bit of this green color here. I'm going to add a little bit of that here on top, and I've got my angle brush this time. Switching back and forth, working quickly. What you can do is add one, have like a lighter color on one brush and then a darker color on the other, and then you can switch back and forth between them and work a little bit faster. That's what I'm doing today. I have my reddish color on this brush and the green on the other brush. And that way I don't contaminate my brushes. I don't have to clean them out. I can just kind of swap back and forth between the two. See, now isn't that making sense? Now it's starting to look like a mountain, huh? Didn't look like it before, but now it is. It's starting to kind of like, okay, now we can see it.
Kind of look like one of those dark movies, You expect to, see lightning and.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to give your eyes some sort of reference, and once you do, with these trees, then your eye fills in the gap for you, and you're like, okay, well, obviously, if you got something blue that looks like this, it's like sideways, then it's a rock. So even though it didn't look any different 2 minutes ago, now your eye's like, oh, no, now I know what you're talking about, It's just amazing how that works. Your eye fills in the gaps and does these kind of things. It's almost like magic. It really is. It's funny. Okay, so adding some more of this kind of orangey yellow here. And then going to grab some of this lighter yellow to add on top. Just a little bit, tapping in tree shapes. Really, these are pretty much just little triangles at this point up in here, but they're pretty merged together, so they're really kind of not a whole lot of separation. So what you got to do is kind of create a little separation, leave little gaps of dark in there so that you can get a tree shape in there every now and then, so your eye doesn't just go big, you know, blob of nothing. You kind of have to see, like right in here, that little one. Even though these are all kind of close together and they're all sort of merged into one shape, as long as every now and then I have like one that's sort of out there that makes sense to your eye, then it'll kind of go, okay, we know what's happening here. Those are trees. This is that brighter yellow. Adding some of that in. And I'm just smushing my brush. I've got it pointed straight down here. And I'm smushing it. You can see how it kind of does the same thing almost as this Stippler does. I wouldn't recommend doing it for too long, though. You don't want to ruin the point on your brush. So that's why I prefer using a Stippler for some of this stuff. You definitely don't want to damage the tip of your brush, your angle brush, and ruin it. I went too far down on that. I don't want to lose my rock right there. Okay. Really bright yellow. Let's keep on going here. Now I have that reddish on my brush, but I'm going to grab some of this green. It'll kind of merge the two, kind of create a new color. Add some highlights to these trees that are back here. We both got a text at the same time. Okay, some brighter green here. Okay. Turn my ringer off here.
Did you turn off her that shall not be named?
No, I didn't. Let's do that too. Thank you. Good idea. Alexa likes to chime in every now and then while we're painting, as if we're talking to her. All right, let's add some of this purple. Ooh, it's already dry. No, don't dry. Come back. Add a little water here. There we go. We rehydrated that one. Add a little bit of that purple color. Kind of to the base of our trees here. Grabbing some yellow oxide. Let's just use some yellow oxide by itself here, because it's kind of already kind of a good golden yellow. Just taking my time on this. Let's use some of this down in here. This time I'm holding my brush sideways instead of vertical. Over here I was kind of using it vertical because I wanted these trees to kind of come out vertical, and my brush is so narrow. I could get away with doing that, but I want my shape of my trees, the branches, to be horizontal mostly. So even though these ones are so far away, you can't really see that the horizontal part, but I am trying to kind of make sure that the base is triangular, so that you get the feel that they're growing that way.
So what kind of spell do you have on your CAD yellow there to make it so bright?
I think it's the camera. It's I don't think it's quite as bright as it's
You think
looking
it's
in that
the
camera.
color settings on the camera?
I think so. I noticed that too when I was looking at it. Okay, so this is the cadmium yellow medium here. I'm just going to add it a few places where I want to shape out some of these trees, where the light's hitting some of them, creating I probably need to switch to a little bit smaller brush because this is having a hard time getting in there. So let's switch to the 1/4 inch version Willow's blender. And then we can get in here and do some wider trees, and then at the top switch to kind of a straight up and down. I'm going to grab some of that red green, blend that in while it's wet. Okay, if you've lost all of your dark color in there, then you can go back in and add some of that in too. So don't fret if if your whole hillside is looking kind of all solid, like if you have, a whole area that's this kind of solid color and there's no depth in it, when you can go back in and add some of your dark color back into it too. So just going to keep that in mind. I'm going to grab my Ultramarine Blue, and I'm going to go in with that and put it kind of at the base of some of these trees to kind of define these cliff sides, these hillsides where these rocks are sitting, or these trees are sitting, because there will be some shadow underneath them. That will help give them that kind of feeling of that cliffside. Trees clinging on there. Okay. I'm pretty good with that. I'm going to go a little bit brighter. Grab some of this Cadmium Red and Phthalo, or yellow oxide red color here. Add some of the Unbleached Titanium to it. Use it on a few of these. It's just a lighter version of that. Just every now and then. And I'm just looking at my reference photo to kind of see where I'm seeing these brighter colors. That's all I'm doing here. Just kind of trying to tap in some of these brighter colors in a few spots. Okay, so as I get down here, I'm going to use the, I'm going to use the yellow oxide down here, and I'm going to add moss to my rocks down here, and I'm just tapping in with this color on this rock down here. Let's add a little bit of green to it to give it a little bit of green or mossy look. Here we go. Okay. All right. So, let me see, what color? Yeah, let's go ahead and use this. We'll see if the fan brush works. If it doesn't, if it's not big enough, then we can switch back to my other brush here. But I'm gonna go ahead and mix up quite a bit of this phthalo green and cadmium yellow medium. Add a tiny bit of red to it. Let's start with that from some of our trees down here. Now we've kind of already started some of these, but I'm going to go ahead and tap in. And I have a lot of paint on my brush here. That will help it kind of come off on the canvas. And you notice I'm leaving a little bit of the dark showing between this layer and the layer previous. So I don't want to cover everything up. And I might be doing too thick here. We'll see. Okay, let's grab some of the burnt umber with the phthalo green. Go in underneath. Yeah, I'm not 100% happy with this fan brush. It feels like it's getting away from me a little bit. It's a little hard to control where the paint is going. It's doing all right, but I think I preferred the other brush. So let's grab some of the yellow. Got a lot of colors on my fan brush now. Let's grab some of this cadmium yellow light, mix it with what I've got on my brush here, and I'm going to go in and try to define, there we go, some of these trees. As I get down to the bottom, I'm going to kind of turn it to its side. So the top branches are kind of straight up and down a little bit. And then as I get down to the bottom, I'm kind of turning it. Not a lot of these smaller branches, lower branches are going to be showing up. So most of this is going to be up in here. This area down here is going to be fairly dark, so all the bright stuff is going to happen up here, up top. There we go.
It's like the sheep's wearing a cloaking device right now.
Yeah, I said I wasn't going to paint around him, but I have been, haven't I? And he did not do that because I don't want to end up with a halo around him. Okay, let's do some of these trees here. Tapping. And then over here there's some trees happening. This one we're seeing these branches coming down this way. over the top of this rock a little bit. Grabbing some of that darker green, using some of that in here. Darker green. Okay, and then let me use a brush here. Grab some brown, mixing it a little bit with that green, but I'm just going to go ahead and put in a few trunks to the trees that I'm seeing in here. I may just have to let me put some color over the top first. So grabbing some of that yellow mixture that was on my fan brush, I'm going to just bring it down in here. This whole area is pretty light. Through down in here. Grabbing some more of that cadmium. I've switched to my angle, my 1/4 inch stippler here, the Willow's blender. Just feel like it's giving me a little more control. Losing my voice. Allergy's been really bad this season.
Do you mean to take over the play-by-play again?
I might have to have you do that eventually.
I'm just going in for some green.
I'm good.
And she's tappa.
Tapping sideways here, side to side. This is going to be that big red tree here, so not too worried about that. What I'm going to do is put in a tree right here. Grabbing some more of this green. Phthalo green. Some of the darker. Add a little bit of that medium color to it. It's just a couple shades brighter than that background green. There we go. And then I'm going to use this brown. I'm going to go in here and add a tree trunk to it, but not all the way up. I'm just going to kind of fit it in between some of these branches in here. Just kind of tap in a little bit of a tree trunk in there. And there's going to be another one right here. So let's do another one with this kind of medium dark green here. There's another dark pine tree right here. So we have these light colors in there, or beside it, and we're doing this dark color now kind of on top of it a little bit. And if it's not showing up, add a little bit of brighter color. There we go.
Okay, they would like to know, could they use a cat's tongue brush for this?
Yep. Yeah, anything that you're comfortable with doing trees, by all means, use whatever whatever you're comfortable using, whatever you're used to using. You definitely don't have to do, the way I'm doing it. This is just the way, I approach it. And I've done trees multiple different ways, so, in different videos. So kind of just try to show you different ways of doing it, in different videos, so that you can try different things and see which one you prefer, But yeah, whatever brushes work for you, whatever techniques work for you, that's what I would do. If you've got a way of doing it that you really prefer, I would say go for it.
Well, you artists are kind of wacky.
Well, and it may, it's going to look a little different than mine, but that's a good thing, I think. So, everybody's painting's going to look a little bit different anyways. Getting some yellow oxide here, adding a little bit of it in between some of these trees here. Leaving some dark area here and here to give it some contrast. But popping a little bit of this color in between some of these darker trees too. And really under the sheep, there's really not a whole lot going on back in here, so I'm just going to kind of scrub in a little bit of stuff happening back there, but not give it any kind of definition at all. Just kind of do a little scrubba and call that good. Let's do some more of that bright yellow. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to come down a little bit farther on this because I'm afraid we're going to end up with a halo around our sheepy here, so I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to come in farther than I think I need to on these trees here, and farther down right here, and up in here. Bring it all in over the top of my sheep edges so that there is no obvious place where that sheep is at. Don't want to end up with like a halo of, halo around our sheep. That's for sure. So just going in with this brush, adding some more detail to these trees here. This is just where I'm going to kind of look and see if any of these are, obviously needing any help. I'm going to grab some white, add it to my yellow in cadmium mellow light, and my green here. Do some of it up here. And these trees up here getting a lot of sunlight, catching it just right off the trees. Doing some of the dark green right here. What are you laughing at?
We had a super chat donation, and we've picked up the tradition of at least typing in moo there, but now people have changed it up for this video with ba.
I like it. That's awesome. That's great. I love it. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that, I think. I might go back in here and just add a couple little spots of really bright yellow to my background trees here. Just a couple little spots to kind of bring those out, but there we go. There we go. Okay. So then I'm going to go in here with this round brush here, add my tree trunk in, and if it's not showing up, I can use a little bit of that purple color. That'll help it. If it's still not showing up, I can go over the top of some of the lighter area here. So let's do it over here. I'll be able to see a lot better over the top of these yellow trees here. Can do some tree trunks in there. Let's grab the Deerfoot Stippler. I'm going to grab this green here, this bright green, and I'm going to do some greenery grasses starting up at the top of the hill. Just setting my brush, tip of my brush down and flicking it upwards. Stippling. Doing it in different directions. Leaving little dark areas in between. I like this color, so I'm just going to kind of stick with it. It's kind of that cadmium yellow medium with the phthalo green and the burnt umber. A little bit of burnt umber in there. Setting it down and kind of flicking will give me some little grassy clumps happening. There we go. Good enough. Let's put in our sheep.
That could be the name of my rock band.
Put in your sheep.
No, Grassy Clumps.
What was the rock band that we were? Something about pickle packers. Remember? There was an article we were reading. It was saying inferior pickle packers or something.
Oh, yeah.
It was a hilarious band name. It was a law. It was like one of those funny laws in
the pickles didn't bounce.
Yeah, the pickles had to bounce because there was a slew of people creating inferior pickles. It wasn't called inferior; it was something else. But anyhow, I just thought it was hilarious.
Dubious.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I can't remember. You need to look it up. It's gonna bug me now. Alrighty. Let's see.
So are you going to drop in the red tree before you do the ship?
Oh, thank you. Yes.
It's not me.
No, I forgot all about it.
No, it wasn't me. It was Dom.
Thank you, Dom. All right, let me add a little bit of Ultramarine Blue to this. That'll create a kind of a purpley color. I'm actually going to grab a little bit of purple too. I don't have a whole lot left here, but there we go. Purple is a really good shadow color for red trees, or for red anything, really. So it's all in here. Start with that dark color. Grab some of that blue, put some of the ultramarine blue in there. Oh, shoot, I wish I hadn't done my grass there. Forgot all about it. Okay, well that's all right. Wipe my brush clean. Grab some of that red and some white. It's going to create kind of a watermelon pink color. And then if I add a little bit of yellow to it, it will. I need some cadmium yellow there. There we go. It will help tone down the pinkness and make it a little bit warmer, prettier highlight color for my red tree. So I'm going to use that in here. Just setting my brush down and kind of lightly scrubbing it side to side to get some of this color on. Kind of just this sort of mushroom shape. And this is all dark back in here, so. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of the brighter red. Although it's not a really red tree necessarily. I'm going to go ahead and grab this color that I mixed up that had the blue in it. Use a little bit of that in there too for some of the brighter spots right up underneath our highlight colors. There we go. Okay. And then if we want to, we can, add a couple little spots of red in a couple other places just to pull this color into other areas. So maybe up here, where's some red? Always helps to kind of unify your painting, to kind of include colors in more than one place. Okay. I don't want that much of it up there, though. I want it just a hint of it. There we go. There, that's better. Okay, so that's good because I'll give our sheep time to dry. All right, so he is right in this area. He is above the halfway mark. So here's our halfway mark. He's just above that. And he goes almost to the end of the canvas here. Does this kind of box shape. This angle is the same as his belly, is the same as his back. He's on this angle here on the hillside. And I might not go up that quite that high. I might go right about here. Let me think. I'm trying to think of where. I'm trying to picture it. Stop, that's not helping me picture. Okay, so right there. And then his face is right about halfway, almost right smack dab in the middle of the canvas. It's just going to be right up in here. Do kind of a oval egg shape right there at first. The top of the head is also going to be on this angle though, so it's kind of, his head is turned a little bit. Just trying to see if that's about the right length of his body. Okay, so the top of his head is this kind of rectangle right here. Then the body comes down from there. So that's where the body is, and then the face is this little narrow shape right here. From the top of the head to the chin is about equal from the chin to the bottom of the body. So right there is sort of where his bottom of his chest is, and then this comes the back around, does this kind of rounded shape right here. That's about right because it's right in front of the tree. Okay, so we're about the right place. Just making sure his leg, his front leg is just behind his ear here. So if you kind of, his ear is going to be coming down this way on either side. If you go straight down, his leg is right in here. And come down below the horizon line and do this triangle for the foot. There's an angle here, an angle here. This is going to come down a little bit more right here. There we go. Then body, body, body. I feel like the top of his body is too high right here. I think it's going to go right about there. So I'm glad I came down a little farther with my trees. There we go. Okay, so this comes up, angles back. This again kind of angles flat and then kind of rounds out right here. Comes up to the head. And then I think I need to round that off a little bit better there. Not quite so square. And then if you did a diagonal line right here, This is where those feet are gonna fall. So right here. And right here. There and there. And there's two legs right here, obviously. One kind of right in front of the other one there. Alright, so there's our little sheep. Take your time drawing him because you don't want to have to fix him later if you mess up. So I'm going to start with brown. His undercoat is very dark brown, and I'm just going to kind of outline him with brown and make sure that I cover up all my tree area here. And I'm just using this 1/4 inch brush here, and I'm going to make these squiggly lines. Squiggle, squiggle. Most of this is not going to really show, but you're going to see some of it over the top of the green and stuff. Okay, so just making sure that we have brown all underneath our cow. We don't want any tree. Don't want any tree hanging out there.
Unless he's wearing active camouflage.
True, true.
So it looks like you can see the trees behind him.
Mm-hmm. It's camouflaging him.
Right. So the wolf can't see him.
Go with blue at the top here. And I'm just going to scrub this in along his back. And up around his face. A lot of blue in the undertones in his face. So I'm just going to go ahead and get those started with this color here. Just do ultramarine blue all up in his face, all up in his business. Up there, here. Okay. Alright, then now I'm going to grab my Unbleached Titanium, my yellow oxide. There's a lot of yellow in his wool, a lot of browns. So I'm going to mix a little bit of brown in there too. Make kind of a light brown yellow color. This will be the first color that I kind of start with to sort of create some of these shadow areas back in here. So I'm going to just kind of use it and scribble. And his wool really is kind of just like the scribbly. It's pretty shaggy, so there's not a lot of clean lines. I'm just going to kind of use this to outline some of the fur here, or the wool. Go right up underneath his chin, so his face is in here. Ear. Need to do this other ear over here, and then there's a couple little horns here and here too. So right up under his chin here, there's some yellow wool. It kind of comes out from around the face and falls down, so it kind of comes out a little bit and down. So this kind of comes out this way. And flatten out my brush so you get a good flat squiggles. His legs. If we go too bright, we can always tone it down with darker colors later. Tapping in. Shaggy fur. Shaggy wool. Sorry. Keep calling it fur. Not fur. Okay. Cleaning that out. And then I think I'm going to switch. Let's try the rake. I think the rake's going to be too fine for this because his fur is pretty clumped up, but we'll try it first and see how it does. So I'm going to use a little bit of this Unbleached Titanium and a little bit of blue and some of the brown. Create kind of a gray color for our wool. And I'm working from dark to light, so this is going to be our next lightest color here. And I've got the rake brush. I've added water to it to kind of help thin it out. And yeah, it's a little too fine. I was worried about that. Okay, so let's trying to think of how to do this easily. I think we're just going to have to paint these in. So I've got my #1 round here, I think, or no, this is a 3/0 round. Princeton Select. And I'm just going to start adding some wool, and I'm wiggling as I put it on. Let me see if I want to use this instead. Hold on. What?
So when are you going to come to my work and just sit off to the side and watch me?
Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem fair, does it?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It's probably pretty boring after a while. I would get bored. I would want something to read at least.
No, I'd be doing Excel stuff. It's not boring.
So I'd be chatting with your coworkers and like, do you have folks that watch you like work? Like,
No.
Cheer you on?
No.
Seems kind of sad.
Nobody does any super chats
I know.
while I'm working.
It's like, that was a really good spreadsheet. Here's a donation.
Mm-hmm.
Here's $5. Go get yourself some coffee. Job well done.
Sometimes when the guy restocks the coffee area, he'll bring me a package of cookies or something. So I guess that's considered.
That's your version of a super chat donation.
Yep.
Does he do it on his own, or do you have to ask him to do it?
No, he does it on his own.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh,
David.
that's nice.
Okay, so you're using your 1/0
No,
round brush and a...
I switched over to this one
Right.
because this one was like a little too smooth. I like the kind of scruffy look that this one's giving me, so I'm just kind of tapping with the edge.
So this is the Willow Splendor again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
The small version of it. Yeah.
That's the 1/4" Willow Splendor.
Yes. Thank you. Scrubby, scrubby. Leaving a little bit of the lighter colors in there, or the darker colors in there. Not covering up too much too soon. So I'm still adding other colors to this. And these are fairly long hairs here, so I'm going fairly long with these. But they are kind of overlapping, and when I overlap them, I want some of them to be shorter than others. I don't want them all lined up evenly all the way across. Like, I don't want to end up with boom, 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 and then boom, boom, boom in between. Like, I don't want it to look like bricks. So to avoid that, I'm going to do like I'll do a long one, and then a short one, and then a little bit longer one, and then kind of one in between, and so I'm constantly varying the lengths and where I'm ending these, so that I don't end up with them looking too even. Now, there's some place where they are kind of even, like down here, at the bottom of his belly. There's a whole section. There's like a section under here that's darker, and then there's this section on top, and these are all kind of almost lined up. So I am going to end up, with some of these sort of lined up, but where they're starting, you're not really seeing, because they're all going to be kind of hidden up under here. And just, if you're putting them on slowly enough, you should not cover up too much of your dark too quickly. That's the key, is just to make sure that you're leaving just a little bit of this dark color and spacing. That's what gives it that kind of fuzzy look. If you have no dark in there, there's no contrast, and then it just looks like a big white blob. We don't want that. And if any point you do too much, and you get too close, or you have too much of the sameness, then we can always just go back in with the dark colors. So don't fret over that either, because I may have to do that myself, and I probably will glaze over some of this. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this letter color in here to give it some texture down here, but it's really not that light down here, so I'll probably cover that back up. Going over the edge. So I have fuzzy edges, and just taking my time. Don't press down too hard, keeping that edge, straight edge, so that I get these lines. And they're kind of going at an angle slightly this way off the back. These ones are kind of coming out at an angle a little bit around as it goes around the back. Some of these coming back this way, and then some of them are kind of going straight up right here. I'm getting all tangled up there, because there's a part up there where part of it goes one way and part of it goes the other way. So we're seeing that kind of tangle up at the top there. Way did I do that? Okay. So there's our gray layer. It's already looking pretty good. Add some more of this yellow. This is yellow oxide.
Okay, I'm telling
This
people.
backside, it's got a lot of yellow in it. What?
I'm telling people in chat that this is about a 6 out of 10 on my scale.
Okay. I believe you. I never can tell. It's hard for me to know. So,
Because you're so awesome.
well, it just
I mean, you paint with 2 brushes. That could be your new name.
Two Brush Anderson.
Paint Whisperer or Paint with 2 brushes. Kevin Costner might play you in a movie.
I hope not.
I guess that didn't sound right, did it?
No, didn't. Okay, going with unbleached titanium white here.
Yeah, chat says, oh God, no.
Seriously,
Well, he
what's wrong with you?
he played that one in Dances with
Yeah, but
Wolves.
I'm not a guy.
Well, I didn't really think it through, obviously. You gave me way too much credit for thinking.
Okay. All right. This is white and unbleached titanium here. Unbleached titanium just kind of keeps it from looking too bright. Oh, he's coming along. And I'm not going all the way down to the bottom with this color. I'm kind of coming slightly above it. The colors are getting kind of... Let's spray this.
Okay, so now I got to figure out who would play you in the movies.
Oh gosh, that's so hard.
Nice story.
No, don't do that. That's never... I don't have anybody that looks like me, really. Okay.
Okay, so we got Julia Roberts, Emma Stone.
Oh, they're being very generous there.
Showing
Thank
the-
you.
The votes here.
Yeah, they're very, very generous. Thank you.
A little bit better than Kevin Costner.
I think so. I'll take it. Y'all are too sweet.
We'll give them a call, see if they want to
Yeah.
play you in the movie.
Who was the one that was in that Big Eyes movie where her husband was taking credit for her art? Get her to play me. Can't remember. Amy Adams? I think that was Amy Adams.
Oh yeah,
She's
I always mix
blonde
her
now.
up with that other person.
Going with white, brighter colors right back on the back here. Oh, he's looking so cute.
Yep, it was Amy Adams.
Yeah. That was a good movie. I haven't had anything exciting enough happen to me to have a movie about me. Going white here. And kind of above, I'm just sort of scrubbing so some of these kind of go fly away up here. There's some fly away things happening on the back. Oh, he's so cute. Can't stand it. Oh my gosh. You knew that was coming.
Yeah, chat's saying the same thing.
Oh, he's so stinking cute. Okay, doing some long ones right here in front of his face. And over here, they're actually kind of blue, so I'm going to add ultramarine blue to my white. That's way too blue, but grab some of that. Use that over here. All this and up in here, blue. God, so freaking cute. Can't stand it. My friend, Christy is crazy about sheep. She's gonna love this. She may have to paint this. Here's ultramarine blue. Putting some of that in here. Okay, let me grab my smaller brush now. This is number 2 Actually, I don't think I want that one. I want the number 1 round. I'm going to grab that black now. And add a little bit of burnt umber to it. And I'm going to use it to put in our ears. Tuck those in right there. Tap in around the face. This side of the face has a little bit of brown, so I'm going to grab a little bit of my white and add it to my burnt umber and use it on this part of the face over here. This ear. See right in here. I love that his face is so dark you can't really see his eyes. He's just like, he's like big, fluffy black face.
I think he's doing blue steel.
Is he? You just can't tell. So cute. Oh my gosh. I can see why she loves sheep. They're so adorable. Okay, so I am going to put a little bit of detail in here though. So just right in here, I'm going to fluff in a little bit of gray on the nose, the top of the nose, in that dark area. Grab a little bit of black and kind of scribble it in there with it so that it's not super obvious, but I want a little something there. And then I do see a tiny, tiny highlight on the nose. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that gray, and right in here I'm going to do like a V, like a little there and a little there. That's way too bright. So I'm going to grab my black and just tap over the top. So there's just, you see that just a tiniest little hint that there's a nose there. And then let's do the same thing with the eyes. There are eyes back in here somewhere. So I'm gonna, well, actually I think I'm gonna do black back there. So there's like there and back in here there's a couple of eyes. Don't draw in googly eyes, just kind of do little darker areas where they're kind of recessed in there. And then I'm gonna grab some of that gray and put it over the top a little bit. A little bit of brown, a little bit of unbleached titanium. Come on. Actually, let's get that burnt sienna. Let's try that. Because it's almost like a reddish color. A little bit there, a little bit right here, kind of on the top of his nose. And then there is a horn. Grab brown and yellow. There's a little horn right here and right here. Burnt umber. There. Okay, let's do his feet. More of this black. I'm just going to tap because there's kind of wool covering it, obviously.
So concern has arisen in chat
Mm-hmm.
on why does he have only 3 legs?
There is another leg right here. It's just hiding. It's back here. You can barely see it in the picture. So
Okay.
it's right here. They're just, he's standing with them in front of each other. He's standing with them together. So you're only seeing one.
Oh, he's kind of doing the
He's posing like
posing
he's posing
for
like
the
a
pageant.
Right, exactly. He's doing pageant pose.
Okay,
Feet.
yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. I'm going to go ahead and use some of this dark up in here. So if we want to, we can bring out another leg out a little bit more right here.
Nope, that's
If we need
okay.
to. If you feel like he needs another leg, you can separate him a little bit. And put another hoof right in here.
Yeah, and he's a sash for cutest sheep ever.
Gets the reward or award for cutest sheep ever. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's good. He's got a little something on his nose there. Let me go ahead and darken up right above the nose, right there, and kind of below it. And then let's grab some white and just squiggle over the top of his forehead. Little squiggles with this brush. Can get a little bit more detail. Go over the top of his horn there too. Set those in. Oh, he's so cute. He kind of went up too high on his forehead there. He's got, it's actually more kind of green back here. Let me fix that. That's gonna bug me. So this green is back here. Top of it, his head is kind of more flat right there. There we go. And then let's put a little bit of green around his hoofs, over the top of his hoofs. Hoof. And then there is a shadow under his feet here. Let me grab some of the ultramarine and just do it on the grass right here. Just wet down ultramarine blue. Put it over the top of the grass right there. Zoom out, honey. I'm too close. I'm going off camera. Thanks. So there's his little shadow. And then I can use this. Grab some burnt umber with the white, with the water. And use that thinned out paint to add my shadows in here. Make sure that my color is dry first. You don't want to lift off any of your paint. So I'm going to shadow in the bottom, this leg here. And just add a few little random kind of shadows in the fur, wool, around the face. In here, just tapping kind of gives it depth. Grabbing some of the yellow oxide. Do the same with that. Yellow oxide in this area. Around the back side. There's a lot of yellow. Okay, and then I'm going to just a little bit more of the bright white. Grab that bright white. I've got my number 1 round here. And I'm just going to squiggle in bright white highlights here and there. Just squiggling, doing long squiggly lines. Do not try to do these carefully, because then they'll just look artificial. Just kind of barely holding the brush really close up, so the only part that's barely touching down is the very tip of the brush, and that way I'm not pressing down too hard. I'm just letting it drag on the canvas and wiggling my hand. That way I'm getting all these interesting shapes, and I don't have these kind of artificial looking long careful lines that we're really not seeing in our sheep. All right, I think we're pretty close. I still want a little bit brighter up here. You can see in the picture how it's a lot brighter up here, so I think I'm just going to keep on adding more of the white up here. Get this a little bit brighter up in here. Get rid of some of those dark areas. There we go. Getting better.
So in your description of your video, you say this is a Valais Blacknose Sheep.
Yeah.
So that's the name, and I guess it originated in Germany.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think that's what I saw on the interwebs.
They're super cute. The little babies are even cuter.
I saw some pictures.
Oh my gosh, the babies are just like a big old black face with a big white fluff around them. Which I would have done, but I didn't. I couldn't find the right picture that I could use. So, you know, I have to be careful using other people's photos. So, this one was one I found and paid for to use on. All right, Shutterstock's photo. So, and I think I'm happy with that. Zoom on out there, and okay, it's okay. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit of the yellow with the white and the green here. Use my fan brush, add a little bit of the white, yellow. Not happy with that. I'm going to take that off. No.
Whole
Big old can of nope on that. Yep. Nope. All right, let's try this again. My paint's getting sticky. That's what's happening. So just add some water to it to get it to flow. There we go. Some white and some yellow. Just want it a little bit brighter than this color here that I've got right now.
Okay, so I was wrong. It's Switzerland. Valais, Switzerland. So I apologize. Fortunately, they're neutral.
Yeah.
We do like your cheese, so. And now sheep.
Chocolate.
And chocolate. And the army has pretty nice knives, too.
Mark.
What?
You're a mess.
I don't want to offend any of the Swiss people.
Then stop talking.
Ouch.
You just said like every stereotype about them. Like, I don't want to offend them. It's like,
There was
okay. You're such an American. Forgive us. Alrighty. There we go. He's so cute. I think I'm happy. Let's sign it. I'll sign it while you're super chat. Wow. Ah.
Sorry for the cowbell. For the sheep. So we had 2 super chats today. The first one was from Tina, and thank you very much, Tina. There was no special message, but I think later on she said just she loves this.
Oh, good.
So thank you again, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
The support. And from Carol also. And Carol says, Angela, bless you for all the wonderful lessons you are teaching. I have learned so much in the last year. Marks, thanks for giving up your free time to support your wife.
He is a prince for sure.
No, thank you,
Couldn't do
Carol.
it without me. Thank you, Carol.
Thanks to everybody who's supporting us.
I couldn't do it without me. That's what I just said. Sorry, I couldn't do it without him.
Wow. So first you tell me to be quiet.
I just realized what I said.
Can't do it without you. No,
Can do it without me. Well, obviously.
No wonder why you hurt your arm from patting yourself on the back.
Exactly.
I see.
Oh my gosh.
So I put the link up there for Patreon.
Okay.
We explain.
Yeah, if you want a traceable for this, I will have one up probably tomorrow. It takes me about a day to create it. I take the original photograph and I trace it and put the traceable up there so you can trace it onto your canvas. And if you don't know how to do that, I have videos about it. The feather drawing video is probably the best one to show you how to trace a pattern onto your canvas to use it and then to paint. So you don't even have to know how to draw. You can just enjoy painting and go to patreon.com/AngelaFineArt, and there's information about that and other things that I have available, bonus materials and bonus videos and reference photos and all kinds of good stuff. So it's all there on Patreon. And if you want the links to any of the social media places or where you can share your work with me, those are all down in the video description. You just click on the show more under the video or the little arrow. Click on that and it'll drop down all kinds of information under there, and you can buy your materials from Amazon or thebrushguys.com, and it helps our channel. Your purchases help our channel. And I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
Please share this. If you got other friends that like to paint, share it with them. Let them see it. Share with them what we're doing and spread the word.
What are we doing Tuesday?
Tuesday we are doing a floral. Really simple, kind of autumn colored floral. It's like a gray and orange. So be really pretty. Very simple. And then next weekend we're going to do some autumn trees with the sunset. So... but you can check out, if you click on my name or my photograph, it'll take you to my homepage, and it shows you all the upcoming videos we've got and all the other videos we've done. Over 300, I think, right? Something like that. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching today. We'll see you next time. Bye.